After you've finished your setting, you're ready for your character sketch assignment. Remember that we're focusing on narratives and connections, especially between settings and people, and that's where our characters will come in. We can find inspiration for characters everywhere, from books to shows, thinking about superheroes, other media that we watch. And we've been focusing on a character or multiple characters in the book that we've been reading, The Outsiders. So, the way to start this is to think of lots of people. The way you're going to do that is by filling in this brainstorming a character sheet. It's the first part of the sheet that you'll download from the Canvas module below. So, you want to fill in as much as you can here. And from my example, you can see I listed people I know, from my family to friends to people I work with, communities that either I've been a part of or communities that I know about. List as many as you can. Causes that you think are important or that you've even just heard of, fictional characters, and then any other people you find interesting. And what we're doing is we're thinking about people or groups of people because any of them can inspire us as we're thinking about the character we're going to create. And as we're thinking about that character, we want to really think about our setting. What type of character would fit there? And how would they be influenced by the setting or possibly influence the setting? So, the setting that I'm thinking of in particular that I wrote about is my college campus in Roseville, Minnesota. Right. So, as I think about my college in the mid 90s, and I look at all the different people and groups and things like that that I wrote down, I'm thinking especially about one of the first ones I wrote down, my sister Amy, because I think about she and I are so different. And I wonder what would it be like for her to have gone to my college and maybe like interacted with people that I interacted with. So that's kind of the spark of my idea. So I'm going to use that, think about my sister Amy as the starting point for my character. Now I'm going to go to the next page, and that's the character outline. You can pause the video here if you'd like to and do the character brainstorming. But make sure you have that filled in before you go to this outline part. We're going to flesh out our character by thinking about this acronym, STEAL. So we're going to think about the speech of the character. What do they say? How do they speak? Their thoughts. So what's going on inside their brains? The effect they have on others. We can learn a lot about a character through the way other people react to them, their actions, and then finally, what do they look like? Now, you don't have to fill these in order. Whatever is inspiring you, you can start with their effect on others, with their looks, whatever you want to do. So for an example, let's use one of the characters from The Outsiders, and that's Dallas Winston with this idea of STEAL. His speech, I think of as inappropriate, right? He has lots of swearing. The way he talks to women is kind of like inappropriate. I think of him as having a Southern drawl, and he can be kind of obnoxious. Thoughts. Now, we don't hear his thoughts, but I think of him as thinking really protectively of Johnny and Ponyboy. He doesn't want them to end up hard like him. The effect he has on others. Some people really don't like him. Some people like him, but they don't want to like him. And the police really don't like him. He's like the usual suspect. He's the one that they always think did the bad thing because he's done lots of bad things. His actions, he's quick to fight. He especially defends his friends. He steals stuff. He smokes. So those are some of the things that he's kind of, I think of when I think of Dallas Winston. His looks. Now, the book describes him one way, and this is like the movie character looks much different. In the book, he's described as having an elfin face and icy blue eyes, and unlike his friends, does not put grease in his white blonde hair. So, very different than this actor looks. The next thing you're going to think of, though, you're going to add one more letter, and that's C, conflict. So, what are his internal conflicts, things that he's wrestling with? And one is he has this hard exterior, but he doesn't want to be that hard. He kind of regrets some of those things. His external conflict is the socias, right? There's this fight going on between the greasers and the socias. So now it's your turn to do this. Fill out this sheet as much as you can. Write as much as you can. Again, you can start in the middle, the end, whatever you would like. And as you're thinking of your character, give them a name. And you might choose to change the name later. That's okay. but describe that. So I described Amy's speech. She's my character I'm writing about. How she speaks a little slowly, she pauses, she's got a Midwest accent, she won't interrupt people, she's soft spoken, but she's firm. And then what does this reveal about your character? So that shows that she's thoughtful, kind, but she lacks confidence. She thinks before she speaks, and sometimes this means that her ideas go unheard. Remember, this is fictional, so you're kind of making these things up, but let that description kind of inspire you for what it reveals about the character. After you finish this whole thing, then you can submit your character sketch.